Hello everyone. So today we are going to learn a new lesson, The Address by Marga Minko. So this is one chapter of CBSE Plus 1 and this is the chapter 2 of the book Snapshots. So there are two books for Plus 1 in English. One is Snapshots and the other one is Hornbill. So this chapter, the address is the chapter 2 of Snapshots. So we will move on to the chapter, the address. So this chapter, the address, is written by Marga Minko. Who is Marga Minko? Okay, we will study about her in detail after seeing her picture. So this is Marga Minko. So Marga Minko was a Dutch journalist and she was also a writer. And she belonged to an Orthodox Jewish family and she joined in journalism in 1938 and later she was actually asked to move out of the newspaper company because she belonged to the Jewish family and there was this German and the Holland War taking place at that time. And her family, her mother, her father, her brothers and sister all were asked to move to another country. You know that when Hitler was actually in charge of Germany, he actually hated the Jews, right? And we know how Hitler treated the people who are Jews and how they were tortured, how they were sent to the concentration camps. We had seen in Anne Frank's diary, the diary of Anne Frank, right? You might have learned in your previous classes the diary of Anne Frank. So in that also we can see that how Hitler and his army tortured the Jewish people and how they were treated in the concentration camps. So Marga Minko also faced the same thing. Her family also faced the same torture when the war between Germany and Holland was taking place. So she was born in Netherlands and she was the only survivor in her family after the war. And she got married to Bert Vointy, I think so. His name. Yeah, it's Bert Vointy. So he was also a writer and both of them were hiding in the same place during the war. So when all her family members went to other countries, she was the only one who was still in that place and who was hiding from the German people, and she was hiding along with her husband who was not her husband then. So his name was Bert Vointy, and later they got married and they had two daughters, and one daughter is also a very famous writer, that is Jessica Vointy. And our author Marga Minko is still alive and she is actually 101 now. And talking about her in detail, we will move on to the next slide. Marga Minko, pseudonym of Sarah Minko. So Marga Minko was not her real name or original name. Her real name was Sarah Menko. Okay, you have to look at the spellings of both the surnames. One is Minko and the other one is Menko. Okay, so she was a Dutch journalist and writer, I had told you earlier. Real surname was Menko. So her real surname was Menko, her real name was Sarah Menko, and some of her other important works were The Bitter Her, The Foal and The Glass Bridge. So now you have an idea of who the author is and what was her family and why she is writing such a story. You will understand after going through this story. Okay, So we will move on to the next slide. An introduction to this story. Short story which highlights the human predicament after the war. So this is the story which tells us about the situation, the unpleasant situation of human being, the Jewish people after the war. Beautifully depicts the pain, anguish and mental torture of survivors of war. So I told you she was the oldest of her family. All the other family members were actually killed. So in this story we can actually see the pain, the anguish. Anguish is actually the physical and the mental pain and the mental torture of survivors of war. So just because they were the Jewish people, they belonged to the Jew, they were treated very badly. So now the setting is post World War II and the persecution of Jews by Hitler's Nazi forces. So post World War II, when was World War II? Right. So it was from 1939 to 1945, and the persecution of Jews by the Hitler's Nazi forces. So the ill treatment of Jews by the Hitler's Nazi forces is also evident in this story. So this is the setting of the story. So moving on to our summary. Before that, I would like to give you some more points in the introduction. During World War II, Germany invaded Holland. So I had told you already, our writer was fired from her job in the newspaper company as she belonged to the Jewish family, and at that time the German invaded the Holland, and 90% of people in Holland were Jews. Many Jews fled to other countries and thousands in concentration camps. So many of the Jews, they out of fear they fled to other countries, okay, and they went to other countries, and many of them were tortured in, or not many, thousands of them were tortured in concentration camps. A woman, Mrs. S, and her daughter, narrator, also had to leave their house. So the two main characters, Mrs. S and her daughter. So the daughter is the narrator of the story. She is narrating this story. She is the one who is telling her story, her life story. Okay, what happened in her life. So the narrator and her mother also had to leave their house because of the war, because they belonged to the Jewish family. Jew, because they belong to the Jew, they also had to leave the house. After Mrs. S left all her things to Mrs. Darling. So Mrs. Darling was actually a very close friend of Mrs. S, and Mrs. S, before leaving the place, she thought of leaving all her belongings to, all her precious things to Mrs. Darling, so that after the war, when she can come back to this place, she can take it from Mrs. Darling. We know that best friends used to keep our things, right? When we don't have any place to keep certain things, we will give it to our neighbors or close neighbors, or to our friends to keep it in a secret place or keep it in a safe place. Likewise, Mrs. S also gave her favorite belongings or precious belongings to Mrs. Darling to keep it safe. And after some time, Mrs. S passed away, and these people went to other countries, and thousands were in concentration camps, and due to the torture and all, Mrs. S actually passed away with the other family members except the narrator. So now the summary is divided into three. The first part is return. Okay, return. So we will start with the first point. After the war had ended, narrator decides to go in search of her place. So now the war had ended, and the narrator wants to go back to her place and search and find out whether everything is okay with her house, her belongings and all. Some of her belongings were with Mrs. Darling, friend of Mrs. S, the mother of the narrator, started living in a small rented house. So, due to the war, her house and her belongings all were ruined, all went into debris. So, she started living in a small rented house. She thought of the old times when she really wanted to go in search of the address, house number 46 Marconi Street. So, here comes the real idea of our chapter's title, the address. So, the address, house number 46 Marconi Street. This is the address of the lady Mrs. Darling, the friend of Mrs. S, the mother of the narrator. So after coming back from the hiding place, after coming back from the war phase, this narrator, she wants to go in search of her belongings, her house, and the belongings, some of the precious belongings of her mother were with Mrs. Darling, and she thought of going in search of the house number 46 Marconi Street. So she only knows the address of the house, and she don't know Mrs. Darling in personally. Okay, she don't know her personally. So when she decided to go in search of Mrs. Darling and her house, she really wanted to go and visit Mrs. Darling, with whom her mother had entrusted her precious possessions like cutlery, utensils, silverware, etc. Okay, so what is cutlery? Cutlery is actually the knives, the forks, the spoons and everything that is used for serving, okay, and eating. So all the precious possessions like cutlery, utensils, silverware, all these things were actually entrusted, were given to Mrs. Darling with the belief that when they return from their hiding place, they will be able to take back these belongings to their house. Okay, so Mrs. Darling, I told you, she was a very good friend of Mrs. S. So Mrs. S trusted Mrs. Darling so much. So Mrs. S decided to give her precious belongings to Mrs. Darling in the belief that she will be able to take back her belongings when she comes back from the hiding place. Okay. So now as Mrs. S passed away and our narrator is the only survivor of the war, she decided to go in search of Mrs. Darling and her house. She knows only the address of the house, and she wants to take away take back her mother's precious belongings along with her. Okay, so she had taken her mother's precious possessions under the pretext of saving them in case their family had to flee their house, protecting themselves against the Nazi repression. So I told you what was the situation of Mrs. S to leave her precious belongings to or with Mrs. Darling. And moving on to the next one. And what is repression, by the way? What is repression? Repression is actually the act of suppression. Okay. So when the narrator reached the address, a broad-backed old lady opened the door. So our narrator was successful in finding the address, and when she went to the house of Mrs. Darling, an old lady who is broad-backed, means with wide shoulders, okay, wide shoulders, she opened the door, and now the narrator guessed that this is Mrs. Darling. So this broad-backed old lady opened the door incompletely as if to hide some secret. So this old lady, she was hiding something, so or she want to hide something, so she didn't open the door completely. She half opened the door and asked and peeped outside, and then asked the narrator who is standing outside who she is, okay, why you came here, who are you, okay, and why are you staring at me. So the old lady was asking the narrator, why are you staring at me, and who are you, why did you come here, do you have anything to do with my house and me, okay. And she was wearing her mother's green cardigan. Okay, so what is a cardigan? A cardigan is actually a knitted sweater, okay, a front open sweater, okay. So the narrator, when she found this old lady, the broad-backed old lady who was hiding something behind her door, or who has something to hide, or who has some secret to hide, she was wearing the green cardigan or the green knitted sweater, front open sweater of Mrs. S, that is the narrator's mother. Okay, so I told you already, many of her precious belongings, many of Mrs. S precious belongings were entrusted to Mrs. Darling, and now the narrator was sure, very sure, that this is the house which I was looking for, or this is the lady for whom I was looking for, because she is using my mother's green cardigan. She is wearing my mother's green cardigan. Okay, the girl recognized the woman, but the woman claimed to know nothing about her. The girl reminded her of Mrs. S, her mother, and their house. So the girl recognized the woman. The narrator recognized the woman by seeing the green cardigan, and she guessed this is Mrs. Darling. But the woman was, maybe she was pretending, or maybe she don't know the narrator, because she had only seen Mrs. S, and our narrator also had not seen Mrs. Darling. One or two times she had a glance of Mrs. Darling, that too from not from the near place, from a distance. Okay, so this girl, she recognized, the narrator recognized the woman, but this woman was like pretending like, sorry, I don't know you, who are you, may I know who you are. And the girl reminded her of Mrs. S, her mother, and their house. Now, the narrator reminded Mrs. Darling who she is. Okay, she told Mrs. Darling, oh, do you remember Mrs. S, your friend? And the house there where Mrs. S was staying. And now Mrs. Darling was like, oh, so you are the daughter of Mrs. S. So the woman realized who she was and inquired how did she survive when the rest of her family died in the war of repression. So now the woman, the old lady, she was surprised, she was shocked, and she was actually in a fix. Okay, she was like, oh, I opened the door and now this girl saw me in her mother's green cardigan, and even if I pretend like I don't know her mother, she will ask me about the green cardigan. And this woman realized who she was and inquired how did she survive. Now the woman want to know how this narrator survived the war when all her other family members died. How did this narrator survive the war? So the woman was of the impression that, okay, all the family members might have died. All the family members of Mrs. S might have died. and now I can happily keep all the belongings of Mrs. S and use it according to my taste, my convenience. Okay, so this is a cardigan. Okay, the girl said that she had returned to the place after the war and wanted to see her mother's things. So now our girl, the narrator, told the old lady, Mrs. Darling, that actually I came to your place because I want to see my mother's belongings. If possible, I want to take all my mother's belongings along with me to my new rented house. The woman rebuffed her advances and said that she did not have time to get into old stuff at that moment and that the girl should return some other time. So the women rejected. Okay, she was not as if she was not interested. Okay, she was showing like she was not at all interested in the in the way the girl was talking, in the matter the girl was talking about. Okay, so she said, oh, I don't have time to look into the old stuff. I don't have time to look into the things that your mother had entrusted me. You better come another day so that I have time. Now I'm very busy. Okay, come another day so that we can talk with each other, and I will let you know about your mother's things, and maybe I could give back some of the other some of your mother's things. Okay, so woman's daughter asked about the visitor from inside the house, but the woman claimed that it was nobody familiar. So the old lady, after saying so, she shut the door. Okay, and now the woman's daughter was hearing everything from inside the house. So the woman's daughter asked the woman who was outside. Okay, who came outside, and the woman was like, oh, that was not nobody familiar to me. Okay, someone came here and she was asking about some address, and she came here for asking about something, some help or something, like we used to say, right? Like some when some people come for some help and someone is asking, who was that? Okay, it was a beggar or it was someone not familiar, right? So like that, even if the old lady was familiar with the person, even if the old lady know the narrator and her mother, the woman was pretending like she don't know them to her daughter. Okay, because she don't want to let her daughter know that this narrator, this girl, she came in search of her mother's belongings and she want to take that away. Okay, and this daughter really don't know that these belongings were not belonging to them. Okay, it was actually the Mrs. S and the narrator's belongings. So the daughter was not aware of anything between this woman, the old lady, Mrs. Darling, and Mrs. S and the narrator. Betrayal of mother's old friend, shocked and hurt, the narrator decided to return with a heavy heart and dash stops. Okay, so now the narrator understood that this old lady was not ready to give her mother's belongings, and she is trying some way to escape from giving back the belongings and escape from talking to with the narrator about the belongings. So she was shocked and she was hurt, and she decided to return, and she was very sad. Heavy heart means she was very sad and she really want to cry, and dashed hope means her hopes were ruined. She had no hope, so she was of the hope that Mrs. Darling might understand her situation, Mrs. Darling is actually a very good friend. She might return all her mother's belongings to our narrator, the girl, but our narrator was wrong. Okay. So the next part, memory. On her way back, the narrator remembers the day she came back to her mother at the beginning of the war. So when the war began, the narrator, she came back from some trip or from her hostel. When she came back to her mother, she looked at the home and the rooms and found that several pieces of furniture, crockery, silverware, etc. were not there. So when she returned from her hostel or trip, when she looked around at her house, her room, what she found was many of the furniture, crockery, silverware, all were missing. Okay, and obviously she will ask about this to her mother, and we will see what was her mother's reply. She became worried and inquired about the missing stuff from her mother. So she ran to her mother and she started inquiring about the belongings to her mother. And her mother downplayed the issue and instead appreciated her keen observation. So her mother tried to ignore the narrator's words and was like, oh, you have a very keen observation, very good. So she tried to ignore, she tried to actually pretend like she had not heard what the narrator asked her. Okay, so she pretended like she don't know anything about the furniture, the crockery or silverware. Okay, so the next slide. One morning, when the girl was striding down the stairs, she saw a woman leaving her house and her mother escorting her out. Okay, so one fine morning when the girl was striding, okay, so she was striding down the stairs means she was taking long steps, okay, long steps down the stairs, and she saw a woman. So you can guess who the woman was. It was Mrs. Darling, and Mrs. Darling was being followed by Mrs. S. Okay, so this Mrs. Darling, she was carrying their crockery and precious things. So now you understood where all these things went. Furniture, crockery, silverware, cutlery, and all these things, they all went to Mrs. Darling's house with the faith that these all will be returned when they will return from their hiding place. Okay, but she asked her mother about the woman and why she took their stuff. So now the narrator was having some doubt. So the narrator asked her mother, who is that woman and why she came here and took all our crockery, our furniture and everything, mother? So her mother told her that she was Mrs. Darling, an old friend of hers who had reconnected with her in recent time. So this Mrs. Darling is not a new friend. She's an old friend of Mrs. S, and they got reconnected recently. Okay, so for example, me and my friend. Okay, let me name her as Adira. Okay, so me and my friend Adira, we both were studying in the same school, or we were neighbors, and then after my marriage I went to one place and Adira went to another place. Okay, after many years we started living in the same neighborhood. Okay, so this is the situation with Mrs. Darling and Mrs. S also. Okay, so they were all friends and they got reconnected recently. So Mrs. S trusted Mrs. Darling so much because they were all friends, they know each other very well. So Mrs. S was of the faith that okay, Mrs. Darling will be the best person who would be able to keep all my things. She was taking their things to keep them safe in case they had to flee in an emergency. So Mrs. S was all prepared to move to another country for hiding there. Okay, when the German-Holland War began. Okay, they would collect their things after peace was established and they were safe in their place. So Mrs. S told her daughter that they will actually come back to their place when peace will be established in their country, and then they will take back all the things from Mrs. Darling. The girl did not feel comfortable and found the woman mysterious and sinister. So sinister means having some evil intention. Okay, so the girl was not at all comfortable with the idea of her mother sending all the precious belongings to Mrs. Darling. So she, at that time itself, she identified the woman as mysterious and as a person with evil intentions. Her mother asked her to refrain from suspecting her friend as she was helping them at the risk of her own life. So her mother was of the opinion that Mrs. Darling is actually a very good person. You are actually suspecting her in vain. She's a very good person. Okay, she is a person whom we can trust at this time, and don't reach conclusions immediately. We will see after some time what is going to happen. Okay, so after peace will be established, we will come back to a place and we will get back all the things from Mrs. Darling. She told the narrator about the woman's address at Marconi Street. It was house number 46. So Mrs. S told the narrator, the girl, about the address of Mrs. Darling, so that when they come back to their place, even the narrator can also go and take all the belongings from Mrs. Darling. Unfortunately, the family was driven to the concentration camps and no one survived but the narrator. So, unfortunately, by fate, only the narrator survived. All other family members were taken to concentration camps. And you know what will happen in concentration camps? They were tortured and finally they got killed. And next part, that is revisit. Growing frustrated at her last visit, the narrator decided to go back to the same address and reclaim her mother's belongings. So now she is very much frustrated. Okay, so after all this incident, she is frustrated, she is sad. The narrator decided to go back to the same address. So she decided to go back to the same address once again. Okay, anyhow she understood that the old lady Mrs. Darling is not going to return her belongings, but she want to try again. She want to see in what condition her belongings are now. Okay, she was determined and approached the door. So she was very much determined and she approached the door. She knocked at the door, but this time a new face opened the door. So this time it was not the old lady, it was not Mrs. Darling who opened the door, it was her daughter. Okay, it was Mrs. Darling's daughter. She asked the narrator to come inside. So the daughter are different from her mother's approach, completely different from her mother's approach. Her mother opened the door was incompletely. Okay, whereas the daughter asked the narrator to come inside their house and actually led her to the drawing room. Okay, so the Darling's daughter, she actually asked the narrator to come inside their house, and then she led she asked the narrator to walk to the drawing room. The room was filled with the narrator's all things that belonged to her mother. So when she took a look at the room, the drawing room, she was shocked. she was surprised. What she saw in that room was that all the things actually belonged to her mother. Okay, all the things in the drawing room belonged to her mother. The burn mark on the tablecloth, so there was a table, and on the top of that there was the tablecloth, and there was the burn mark. So she identified all the things that belonged to her mother in that drawing room, including the burn mark on the tablecloth, the silver spoons. Everything reminded her of the past. So she was reminded of her past. Okay, she was reminded of her mother. She was reminded of her family, how happy they were before the war. Okay, the things looked the same, but they were in a different place, lifeless and strange. So all the things looked the same, okay, but it was in a different place. Okay, because means her mother died, her family members, other family members died. She's the only survivor, and she started thinking, bringing back all the belongings to my place by force, is there any use in that? And all those things seemed lifeless without the touch of her mother. Without the touch of her mother on all the things seemed lifeless. Okay, it was her mother, or it was her family that gave life to all the things. Now all the belongings of her mother, they looked lifeless and strange. Okay, so moving on to the next one, lacked the life they had, lacked the touch of her mother and the smell of their house. They were reminded of what the narrator had actually lost, and it could never be recovered. Okay, so that was the reminder of her mother, her family, and she knows she could never recover her family, or her family would never come back. The girl obviously did not know that her mother was a conniving and wicked woman, means a person who is using others' things illegally, and a cunning woman. Okay, and then the narrator asked her, that is the Mrs. Darling's daughter, don't know to whom these belongings belong. Okay, so she was told by her mother that these all are our things and we are the ones who must use this. Okay, and nobody is going to come and ask us these belongings, because Mrs. Darling she was of the impression that Mrs. S and her family all died in the concentration camp and they are not going to come back in search of these belongings. The narrator asked her if she knew where her mother had got those things from. So now the narrator asked the daughter whether she had any idea about all these belongings, or where they came from, and Mrs. Darling's daughter was unaware of all those things. Overwhelmed by the fleshing memories, and decided to leave the house and the possessions. So this narrator, she was now full of memories. Her heart was full of memories, and she don't know what to do. She can actually argue with Mrs. Darling and her daughter and take away all the belongings, but she felt like taking away all these belongings is of no use if they are lifeless and strange, right? Without giving an explanation, she scampered from the house, which became hauntingly difficult for her to stay. So scampered means run actually, but with a quick light steps. So she actually ran from that house, and she don't want to stay there anymore, because she was haunted by her mother's and her family's memories. She somehow want to escape from all those old memories and lead a new life. she made a commitment never to return to the place and those forgotten things. So she promised to herself that she will never return to Mrs. Darling's house and all those belongings. In the end, she decided to forget the address and all the history associated with it. So she decided to forget the address, house number 46 Marconi Street, and all the history, that is all the history means about Mrs. Darling and her daughter. For her, it was a burden she was relieved to get off her mind and heart. Okay, so now for her, it was a burden. Till then, it was a burden for her to find all her belongings, to go in search of the address, to address Mrs. Darling about her belongings, and then finding whether they are in the safe place and whether she can take that away, or whether Mrs. Darling will return all her belongings happily. And now, after seeing all these belongings, she was actually shocked and she don't want to take away these belongings, because all these belongings were haunting her with old bad memories, all memories which will make her sad. So she decided to promise herself that she will never return to this place in search of the belongings, and she relieved herself from the burden of the old memories of her, old memories of the war, old memories of her family being killed in the concentration camps, all memories of her belongings being staying in another person's house is lifeless and strange. So this was all about the story, the address. So now you know why I told you the address is not just about identity in this one. It is all about trust. It is all about emotions. Okay, emotions, love. Okay, so this is all about the story, the address. So I hope you understood the story. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment section. So we will meet with another chapter. So this was the English explanation of this chapter, the address. I will be giving a Malayalam explanation also in another video. So thank you all. Stay connected, stay safe.